Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Xiaoqing. Today, I'm very excited to showcase some of our key features of our latest product innovation, Kaizen. Later, I'm going to demonstrate to you how Kaizen could significantly help you improve cadence and achieve business agility. Now, before we dive into the demo, let's play a little game. Okay, let's relax a bit. Okay, let's see how do we play the game. Now, each of you should have a lanyard like this with you. Okay, you should see your own unique QR code on the lanyard. Okay, please go ahead and scan your QR code. Okay, once you scan your QR code, you automatically be logged into the quiz application. Each of you has a unique account in the quiz app. Now, once you scan your QR code, you should be seeing a holding page with a little wheel spinning. Okay, that's the intended behavior. Okay, because please wait for the quiz to be released. We want everybody to start at the same time. Now, at the end of the quiz, there will be prizes given out to the top three winners. Top three winners. Now, how do we win the game? Okay, first, you need to complete within 2 minutes. The one with the highest score within the shortest time. Right, let's bring up the screen. Okay, this should be the holding page that you should be seeing now after you scan the QR code. Is everyone at this screen already? Okay, if you face any difficulty, please feel free to raise your hand. Our team could approach you to assist. All right, I'll be playing as a game master here, quiz master here, controlling the quiz. Okay, now once I release the quiz later, okay, you see your screen, you see the quiz questions on your screen and can right away start working on the quiz. Now let's release the quiz now. All right, the quiz has been released. You should be able to see the question on the screen now. Okay, there's also a countdown timer on the screen here for reference so that you know how much time is left. For those who have completed your quiz, you would see another holding page. Okay, that's the intended behavior. Let's give a bit more time for the rest to complete the quiz. Okay, there are 10 more seconds left. Okay, time is up. Let's release the answers now. Okay, the answers have been released. You should be able to see your results on your screen now. Okay, I wonder who got everything correct and who will be the winners later. Now, after you check your results, please proceed to tap on the continue button. Do leave us your feedback. Your feedback is valuable to us. It could be anything related to our seminar, any topics that you're interested in, or anything that is related to our product. Please feel free to leave your feedback or comments. Okay, I guess everyone is almost done. Now, without further ado, let's review who are the winners. Let's take a look at the leaderboard. Wow, okay, here are our winners. Our winners are Yong Hao Chong, Mei Yin Ko, and Elisa Wee. Okay, let's give them a round of applause. Okay, congratulations to the winners. Later at the end of the seminar, our team will approach you for the prize. And thank you everyone for your participation. Now let's take a look at other live statistics that we have gathered through this quiz. Okay, on the section on the top here, okay, interestingly, this particular question has the highest incorrect rate. Okay, let's take a look at this question about. What is a key challenge of agile requirements definition? Okay, the correct answer is C, confirming the high fidelity screen design quickly. Okay, the pie chart on the right here shows that okay, there are 10 people who choose option A, which is the incorrect answer. Okay, there's also 6 people who choose option B. Okay, please take note the correct question should be C. Okay, now let's move down and take a look at other chart. Okay, so on the left here, we have the score distribution chart. Okay, from here, we could tell that there's 11 participants who managed to get everything correct. Well done, guys. Okay, at the time taken for the quiz, from here, we could tell that most of the people, 20 of them, managed to complete within 60 to 90 seconds. Okay, this is some of the live statistics I've gathered through the quiz that you guys were interacting with just now. Okay, thank you everyone for your participation. I hope you guys had a little fun. Let me show you how this is related to our demo. Right, before I dive into the demo, okay, let me give an overview to you so that you know what to expect. Now, first, I'll show you, the first scenario I'm going to show you is you as a customer, okay, how you could leverage on Kaizen's collaborative commenting feature to review the hi-fi prototype with real-time feedback and quick iteration. The second scenario I'm going to show you, okay, how you could leverage on our Kaizen's feature to improve all the pages or your front-end pages performance, accessibility, best practices, and SEO right at the start of design time. So we are adopting a shift left principle over here. And then we'll show you how we create the React app without writing React code. And next, we'll show you how you could use our workflow to track your workflow progress and identify bottlenecks. Now, just now earlier, the quiz application that you guys were interacting with, including the dashboard I was showing you, it is actually a React web app that was created using Kaizen itself. Okay, the best part is we didn't write the React code at all. Okay, later I'm going to bring back to show you how we did that. Now let's move on. Let's start with the first scenario. Okay, review hi-fi prototype with real-time feedback and quick iteration. Let's bring up the screen. Okay, this is our Kaizen Studio. Okay, now for the purpose of demo, we have pre-created a few accounts, user accounts simulating different roles in the projects. So our first scenario is that I'm simulating as a designer role who would be the one who design and create the screens. Okay, once you log in to Kaizen Studio, okay, this is the homepage that we presented to you. The section on the top here is where all the reusable templates will be displayed. Okay, so templates allows your team to quickly jumpstart the creation of screens based on a set of predefined and pre-designed screens. So instead of creating from scratch, they have a template to start with. Okay, they just go ahead and modify accordingly. So there'll be templates for different kind of use cases. For example, we could have like a set of template for typical administrative kind of screens where you have your typical create, listing, update, delete. Okay, we could also have template that's catering for different kind of dashboard charts, right? So on and so forth. So you can have all kinds of different templates pre-built and share with your screens, share with your team. Okay. Now the section below is where the projects and applications will be listed. Okay, there's access control to it. Okay, you only see the application that you have access to. Okay, earlier on, just now I saw a question in the pigeonhole that asked whether our Kaizen supports multi-tenant. Yes, it supports. That's exactly, so we are just leveraging on one standard platform, Kaizen, and with the access control that pre-built into the product, we can have different projects, different applications assigned to different personnel by granting them the necessary rights. Okay, now let's take a look at, as a designer, I want to start creating the screens, right? So I will click on this particular design icon here, okay? That will bring up our Kaizen designer, app designer. Now let me give you a quick orientation. Over here under resource panel is where all the pages will be listed. Now earlier on, you guys were interacting with the quiz, right? You went through a series of different screens. You have the quiz questions, you have a holding page, you have results, and the feedback. Every single screen that you went through just now has a corresponding page listed over here, because we created all these screens using our app designer itself. Now, every page has a set of UI components with it. So for example, in this particular page, okay, there's a image component, there's a text, there's a button. So all these components are actually created by using the components in our component library. So out of the box, Kaizen provides you an extensive set of UI components for you to choose to create your screens based on your different needs. Okay, including the dashboard that you saw earlier, all those different charts are part of our UI components library. Right? Let's take a look at other screen that we saw just now. So after you submit a quiz, you saw your results page, right? Something like that. Okay, let's click on the continue button, and you also saw this feedback page. Okay, let's take a look at another screen. Okay, after that, you also see this thank you screen with a sales contact, right? So there's a nice little confetti effect here. It's also part of the component. Now let's take a look. Let's say upon clicking on selecting a component, okay, the panel on the right over there, okay, this is where all the properties of the particular component will be listed. So all we need to do is just go ahead and configure, for example, in this case, the font size, okay, whether you want to highlight it, and you can also click on the styles. There's a whole bunch of others, different styles that we can configure, okay. So every component has its own sets of properties for you to configure. All we need to do is just configuration. Right, let's take a look at the dashboard. Okay, this is dashboard. Okay, so this is the dashboard page that we created using the app designer as well. Okay, like I said, the charts are created using our UI components in the library. Now let me bring you through this scenario. Let's say I'm a customer. Okay, when I review the screens in Kaizen, how could I leverage on our collaborative commenting feature for you to provide instant feedback to the team to revise? Okay, now let's bring up another window. Okay, now I have another window over here that I'm simulating that I've logged in as a customer role. You can see over here. So as a customer, okay, you would use the same platform, and then you click on the preview button over here, and it will show you in a preview mode, as though as it's a running system. Okay. So as a customer, as I review the screen, well, everything looks good, but I feel like I want to add another chart to this leaderboard section here. So what I will do is, as a customer, I could bring up the comments panel. Okay. Then let me click on the leaderboard section here, and you can see the leaderboard is highlighted. Then I will proceed to type in my comments. Okay, I want to add another, let's say, a timely completion rate chart, okay, over at this section. Now I've added my comments and shown over here. Now let me bring you back to the designer screen. So now I've come back, switched back to the designer screen over here, as you can see, right? Now as a designer, when I bring up the comments panel, I will be able to see the comments that the customer added. He just added, I can immediately see it, okay? I can see it instantly, and what I could do is I can click on the comment. Okay, customer has added a comment, say he wants to add a new chart for the timely completion. Okay, as I click, this leaderboard section here, as you can see, is highlighted. So it makes it very clear to me that the customer wants to add a new chart exactly at this leaderboard section. And it's not anywhere else in the screen, not in the middle screen, not at the bottom of the screen. It's right here, the leaderboard. Okay. Now, as a designer, I would like to react to the comments quickly, right? So let's see how we could do that. Let's bring up the components library. Okay, then I will start adding a new chart. Okay, now let's use another type of chart that is not shown earlier. Okay, so we already have the live API, backend API ready. We just need to bind to it. Okay, so we are actually getting the live statistic. Okay, then we'll proceed to style, give it a width, the height. Okay, I think we are still missing a title. Okay, let's give it a title. Okay, just type the title over here. and then style it according to the same style as other titles, for example, the history title. Right, we are done. Isn't that fast? Now, as a designer, I'm done making my changes. Okay, what I'll do is I'll head over to the comments panel again and click on the feedback. I'll reply to the customer. Mr. Customer, I've added, please review. As you can see, all the replies also track under the main comments here. Now, similarly, if I were to switch back to my customer screen, as a customer, you would be able to immediately see the response given by the designer, and you will be able to see the changes immediately, and you can proceed to review the changes. As you can see, all these can happen and can be carried out simultaneously, and when all the different team members can collaborate together. So what it means is that now your users, your customers, can actually, by leveraging on the collaborative commenting feature, they can actually provide feedback in real time, and this will enable quicker iterations and revision process. And this is especially crucial when it comes to agile development, right? And your customers can now provide feedback in real time. This will facilitate efficient collaboration and the communication among the team members, your users, the different stakeholders, okay? And you can even let our boss to play around with these interactive screens to gather feedback instantly. Now, instead of relying on different communication channels, okay, we could now let the users to comment directly on the content that they are reviewing. This would reduce all the back and forth of emails, meetings, and the best part is very often we have these issues that earlier shared by Cheng Hai as well, that very often customers will say that I've already given you this feedback. Why is it not reflected on the screen? And the team would say, we didn't receive this feedback. Maybe they go back and search high and low on the emails. The best part, they couldn't even find the email. Maybe because the email is lost due to transition of team members and many other reasons. Now, all these issues can now be eliminated because all your users, your customers' comment are now being tracked on Kaizen itself, and all the responses given by the team members and the changes and all centrally tracked in Kaizen. At any point of time, anybody in the team members, customers, the user could come back to refer back to the review and know that whether it has been acted upon it. That is how Kaizen could help you to reduce all these unnecessary time spent and the misunderstanding. Okay? Right, that is the first scenario that we are going to show you. Now let's move on to the second scenario. Okay, we're going to show you how you could leverage on Kaizen to improve your front-end performance, accessibility, and best practices right at the start of the design phase. Okay, let's bring up the page scan feature. Okay, let's bring up the page scan panel and proceed to scan. Now, what is this feature about? In Singapore, many of our government digital services, especially those that fronting the internet, fronting the public, are actually required to integrate with these WOGA services provided by GovTech. Now, WOGA helps you to analyze your services in 4 aspects, and one of them is called the WOGA Inspect service. It will help you analyze your front-end performance, accessibility, best practices, and SEO of your digital services. Okay, but in order to integrate with WOGA, your services will need to be publicly available. But many a times during the designing phase, you are just creating the screens. The system is not up and running yet. This may not be achievable. That's where our page scan feature comes in handy for you, because page scan is essentially doing similar thing as the WOGA Inspect service. It will help you to analyze your page performance, accessibility, best practices, and SEO. So that by adopting this shift left principle, we are able to help you identify on the areas of improvement right at the design phase itself, so that your team could make the necessary changes to improve right at the start. Right? Let's take a look at the report. Okay, let's show you some examples how we could, for example, in this case, in this report, okay, there's this particular suggestions that says that the images that we use is not a better compression format. So we could have used next-gen formats. Okay, this will potentially save the savings of how many kilobytes. Okay, so another example we could see, let's say for this one. Okay, the image elements do not have explicit width and height. So by running through the report, okay, we could easily get the team to go back to the app designer to fix it and improve the performance right at the start of the designing of the screen itself. Okay, so when it comes to actual Woga integration, this will help you to score much better. And instead of waiting until last when you integrate with Woga, then you receive a report, a long list of items to fix, you could have already fixed it right at the start. Now, of course, when it comes to in your actual environment, your UAT and production, where you're required to integrate with Woga, Kaizen will help you integrate easily as well. It's just a matter of configuration in our product. Okay, now let's move on to the third scenario. Okay, we're going to show you how you could create this React app without writing React code. Okay, let's move back to our screen. Okay, as you noticed earlier, just now we have shown you a series of screens, right, that we created using App Designer, which is also the screens that you guys were interacting with just now. Okay, we also show you an example how we actually added a new chart, okay, dynamically on the fly, right, by doing just drag and drop of the UI components and configurations. As you notice, we haven't written a single React code at all. Okay, now what it means that it will allow anybody in your team to be able to make changes to the screens without knowing how to write React code at all. But eventually, what they are getting is a React application. Once you are satisfied with your changes and integrated with your backend APIs, now all your screens can be generated into the React source code itself. This can be done in just one click of a button. Okay, let's take a look at the generated source code. Okay, so it will be organized into the different folders, the source folders. The dashboard is where just now the dashboard screen is. Okay, let's open up and let everybody see some of the examples of source. I can see the source code of the dashboard. Okay, there are thousands line of codes, but we didn't write a single one. Okay, it's just merely drag and drop and configurations. And this is one of the Kaizen's unique values that we're giving you as a customer. You now will be given the generated source code, ensuring full autonomy over your projects without vendor lock-in. So you're not logged into our platform because we are giving you the generated source code. You can just take it and run it and deploy in your web server. Now let's move on to the next one. Okay, which is the last but not least, I'm going to show you our Kaizen workflow. Just now, the series of screen that we went through, there's some workflow, there's the whole quiz flow. Like once you scan your QR code, you are being placed at the holding page. After that, after I release and you see the questions, all this is actually designed and created using our Kaizen workflow component. I'm going to show you how we could create that and also how you could use our feature to track your workflow progress and identify bottlenecks. Now let's bring up the screen. Okay, over here just now we show you the design and the preview feature. Now there's also a little workflow icon here. Let's click on the workflow. So this will bring up our Kaizen workflow designer. Okay, so this is actually the quiz workflow that you guys were interacting with just now. Later I'll walk you through with the flow. Now on the panel here on the left are where the workflow elements are placed. Okay, you could make use of these workflow elements to create and design your workflows depending on your different needs. Okay, while I walk through with you on the quiz workflow, I'll also show you some of the elements that we have used. Okay, now first, this is start node, and the first task that we have over here is actually a wait for quiz start. So this is a kind of waiting task. Okay, remember earlier on when you scan the QR code, you're actually at a holding page, right? You didn't see a quiz question yet. The reason being is that we intentionally place a waiting task over here so that we can control when the quiz will be started. Everybody will start at the same time. And just now when me as playing as a quiz master, when I release the question, what it does is that actually signal this waiting task to move on to the next step. Okay. Now, the next step here over here is actually a parallel gateway. Okay, let's take a look at what are the other options that we can have. Okay, other than parallel, we can have exclusive gateway, inclusive, complex, and event-based. All these are catering for the different needs of your workflow. Now, but in this case, we are using a parallel gateway. The reason is that we want to split this flow into two concurrent flows to allow multiple tasks to be executed simultaneously. Okay, that's why we choose a parallel flow, a parallel gateway. Okay. Now, while it's split into two concurrent flows, the first one will be the one on top, where you as a user, it's actually a user task you can see over here. You as a user will see the quiz question on the screen, and you'll be working on the quiz. While the other task over here is actually waiting for me to release the quiz answer. Okay. Now, this is a kind of user task. Okay, there are other options that we can configure for user tasks. Okay, later we'll come back to this in a bit. Now, once you complete a quiz and when I release the answers, okay, what it does is that that's where you see your results on your page, and you see also a feedback page. Okay. And remember earlier there was a question asking you whether you wish to know more about Kaizen. Okay. So that's where this exclusive gateway would route according to the answers that you provided. So when you provide yes, you route you to the step on top, which is to send an email to you with our sales contact. Okay, so this is actually a HTTP task. Okay, you can see here. Okay, HTTP task is like a kind of backend task for you to execute certain backend process, a backend logic. For in this case, it's actually triggering a backend process to send an email. Okay, so over here, I can see, okay, there's a different HTTP method you can configure, the URL, okay, the request parameters as well. Okay, but because this is a backend task, okay, so what you see actually is actually behind the scene. For you, what you see is after your results page, you immediately see this sales contact. Because once it's executed, you move on to the next page, the next step, which is you as a user looking at the thank you screen with the sales contact. Okay, that is how we created and designed the entire quiz flow using the Kaizen workflow. Now let us show you what are the options you can configure for user tasks. In most cases, we would like our user tasks to be automated routable. So we want the system to handle the routing for us. So for example, in this case, let's take a look what are the different types of routing available. We can have like round robin, okay, where the group of users, if you have 3 users in a round robin group, each of them will take turn to be assigned with a task pretty much in a fairly manner. Okay. We also have a claim base. This means all your users in the group will receive the same task. Okay, but the first user who picks up the task will be the one who owns the task and be responsible for completing it. Okay, we also have another type, custom. This to cater for if you have a more complex logic, you can actually make use of the custom over here to implement your own complex and custom logic for the user task assignment. Okay, let's take a look. If I choose round robin, okay, I can also round robin to a group or row. Okay, and I can also proceed to the group that I want to round robin to. Okay, let's take a look at the SLA section. Okay, for user tasks in particularly, very often we want to specify a certain time frame, okay, for your officer to complete the task, right? So this is where we can configure the number of days, okay, for user to complete, and in terms of working days or calendar days. Okay, there's option also for you to configure the complexity of the task. Okay, this will be taken into consideration in the task assignment. Okay, now we are talking today's topic is all about accelerating agile, right? It's all about changes, how we could react to the changes quickly. So now let's say the customer, the user wants to change this flow a bit. So let's say user say, instead of just showing the results on the page, okay, on the screen, I would like to send the results to the users via email as well. Let's take a look how we could do that. Okay, we head over here, drag HTTP task, can just drop it right before the results page, okay, and give it a name. As you can see, once you drop it, all the lines are also automatically connected for you. So it's as simple as that. Right, now let me move on to show you how you could now monitor. You have your workflow created, okay? Now when it's running in the process execution, how we could monitor the workflow instance progress and identify bottlenecks. Okay, let's go over here. Okay, earlier on, each of you who has scanned your QR code actually have started an instance of that quiz workflow. Okay, everyone has an instance record shown in the listing here. Okay, most are running. There's one that's with error status. We'll come back to that later. Let's pick the one with running first and view the instance status. Right. So what it will show you is actually a similar view of the entire workflow, but with the status with color indication. So at one glance, actually I believe without much explanation, you will figure out actually that the tasks that are highlighted in green are the tasks that have been completed successfully. Okay. Now the task that's in yellow is where the current step is. Meaning in this instance, these steps have been completed, and now user is now at the user task here where the user is viewing the results and viewing the thank you stream with the sales contact. Okay, so that is how we could help to monitor our process progress and identify bottlenecks. For example, if you task is stuck at the yellow color at the user task for a long time, you know exactly where the bottleneck is. Now, there's also another example we could show you. Let's say what happens, let's say if there's a failure. Okay, what happens if there's a failure in the workflow? So for example, over here, let's take a look. Yeah, similarly, by looking at this diagram, you know exactly this workflow fails at this particular step where we're trying to send an email to the user. Okay, that is how we could identify what the bottleneck is and also pinpoint the issues. Okay, now it actually provides a detailed records of what are the actions taken, the decisions that have been made, in this case a yes, and the outcome of each of the workflow instance. Okay, from here we could monitor the efficiency and identify bottlenecks, and it's a pivotal component of our observability framework. It allows us to gain comprehensive insights into our workflow process, performance, identify bottlenecks, pinpoint issues, and in turn improve the operational efficiency. Now, I'm almost at the end of my demo, but before I end the demo, let me show you how one of our AI capabilities that we incorporated into Kaizen. I'm going to show you text translation with Gen AI. The demo I'm going to show you is that we're going to translate from English to Chinese and Japanese, two other languages. Okay, the text over here on top is the original text. Okay, the text at the bottom is supposed to show you the translated text, but at this moment it's showing you the original text because the translation hasn't been taken place yet. We will show you how it's being done in a short while. Now the text phrase over here is actually a text sentence that's been extracted from the Visit Singapore website. Okay, let's go ahead and see how we could do the translation. Okay, let's click on this. Let's enable the multi-language. Okay, let's paste the text over and start the translation. Now, how is this useful to you, you may ask? Let's say you have a digital service that needs to support multiple languages for different groups of users. One example could be the CDC voucher. We have 4 languages on it. Okay. Another example could be, let's say Singapore tourism board, some digital services. Okay, we might want to cater for the visitors from different countries. So we want to show the website content in various kind of languages. Now, okay, now let's take a look at how it looks like. Let's take a look at preview. Okay, you can see this is the English version now. Okay, let's switch over to Chinese. Right, so this is the Chinese translated text. Okay, let's take a look at the Japanese. Okay, I don't understand Japanese, but for those, I know some of you might know the Japanese. But if you take a look at the Chinese one, it's actually a pretty decent translation. Okay, now we all know that Gen AI is particularly strong in contextual understanding. Right, we can train the specific based on specific data sets. Let's say based on your technical documents or literature of certain documents. Okay, so that it could improve on the accuracy in those areas. Now, one of the most immediate effect that you gain is that the significant amount of time and resources that will be saved, okay, through this translation capability. Because you now, as a product owner or as a customer, you only need to focus on the content in one primary language, and all the other languages can be automatically translated for you to review with the integrated AI capabilities. all you need to do is just when you review the screen in different languages, you could fine tune some of them and provide your comments accordingly. Okay. Now that's the end of my demo. Now, in light of the features that we have showcased I believe now you have a clear understanding of how Kaizen could help you to improve, enhance cadence, and propel us towards greater business agility. Thank you, everyone.
Wow, thank you, Xiaoqing, for your excellent demonstration. Okay, you wanna stay on the stage? Okay. Truly, Kaizen is a fantastic platform for us to accelerate our agile methodologies. We're very happy to be receiving questions from you guys, but in light of time, let us take 3 questions. So Xiaoqing will take some time to review the questions on Pigeonhole, and she will answer those with high votes.
Okay, let's take a look at the questions. Okay, there's this question with quite a number of high votes here. Front-end technology are changing too fast. How Kaizen app can catch up the changes? Can Kaizen app support multiple frameworks such as Angular or other? Okay. Now, the reason why we selected React is because React is actually one of the most commonly used and widely used framework to create dynamic and interactive front-end web. Now, we understand as a technology, in this technology field, we understand that the technology is ever evolving in a very fast pace. So we constantly monitor the market trend, and we'll make the necessary adjustment when there is a need. Okay. Let me see what are the other questions over here. Okay, does Kaizen support multi-tenant? I think just now I've answered the question. The answer is yes. Okay, so by leveraging on our IAM framework, okay, and also because now all your projects, you can view the project as a separate tenant. Okay, and then under the projects, there are multiple apps that can be created, and each of your app, even including the project, we can assign different users with a different access rights given based on their roles. So you ensure that when you as a customer, you would only see what you're able to see, and other customers, they won't be able to see your own projects and applications as well.
Okay, let us take one last question.
Right. If I need a UI component that's not in the component library, what can I do? Okay. Okay, interesting question. Okay, now we will definitely be constantly adding new components to our component library to enrich the library list, right? But at the same time, let's say if you have specific needs, we could also help you create, help you introduce a new customized UI component into a library for your, depending on your use case. Okay, that's the commitment that we will do it for you. Okay. Right. I think that's all.
Once again, thank you so much, Xiaoqing, for your demo of Kaizen.